Anarchism grew out of classical liberalism. Classical liberalism collapsed because it ran into capitalism. Capitalism is inconsistent with liberal ideas, classical liberal ideas. Capitalism is based on the principle that for most of your waking life, you should be a servant who follows a master. That's called having a job. Suppose you have a job in a factory or a McDonald's or wherever. Most of your waking life is spent following orders. And the orders are very strict. What you can wear, when you're allowed to go to the restroom, who you're allowed to talk to, what motions you have to make, and so on. If you're working in an Amazon warehouse, what path you have to go through to get the fastest way from here to there, and so on. So that's capitalism. It's based on the idea that there are masters and servants. You look back at labor history, U.S. labor history in the 19th century, when the industrial system was established, working people were bitterly opposed to it. It was an attack on their rights and their dignity to have to follow orders. Having a job was called wage slavery. This was such a common idea that it was a slogan of the Republican Party. The Republican Party then was nothing like what it is today. Republican Party in Lincoln's day, one of its principles was that wage labor is intolerable. It's an intolerable attack on rights and freedom. People can be wage laborers only temporarily until they can regain their freedom somehow. That was a standard conception of American working people in the 19th century. Capitalism had to be imposed by force. And in fact, if you look back at U.S. history, the United States has a very violent labor history, much more so than other comparable countries. Until the late 1930s, workers were being murdered by security forces in labor actions. It didn't happen anywhere else in the advanced countries, at least. We have a violent labor history, and in fact, the modern period since Reagan, one of the major goals of the government has been to destroy the labor movement in many different ways. What's called neoliberal globalization under Clinton, the way it was designed, was basically designed to undermine American labor. And this goes way back. So capitalism was inconsistent with liberal ideas, liberal humane conceptions. Working people hated it. Finally, they've come to accept it, but I think opposition is right below the surface. Well, what's anarchism? Anarchism says, let's take the traditional ideas that authority, hierarchy, domination are illegitimate and have a burden of proof. They have to prove their legitimacy, show that we're legitimate. Well, sometimes you can do that. Like if I'm walking down the street with my grandchild and the kid runs into the street and I grab his arm and pull him back, that's authority. But I think you can give an argument for it. But any kind of dominance or authority, whether it's in the family, whether it's patriarchal family, parents and children, schools, social systems, economic structures, and so on, political systems, unless authority can be justified, it should be eliminated. And it can very rarely be justified when you think it through, any more than employment can. Well, anarchism just says, when you find illegitimate authority, let's dismantle it and move towards a more free, just social arrangement. My own feeling is that almost everybody's an anarchist. when they think about it, when they think about the kinds of structures of authority and domination that they accept, and ask, should we accept them? Is there a justification for them? There very rarely is. You can think that through for yourself. What kinds of authority, domination, and hierarchy are legitimate? And if they're not, you should be doing something to work to get rid of them. That's basically anarchism.